He's credited with bringing Chicago its first Stanley Cup in 23 years. He led the NHL in scoring 7 times. He was one of the first to curve the blade of his hockey stick, adding speed to his slap shots. And, oh yeah, his son played football for Boise State. Bobby Hull, the Golden Jet, passed away today in Florida at the age of 84. He was known as the Golden Jet because of his speed on the ice and his blonde hair. He played 15 seasons in the NHL, spread across 3 decades. Hull is survived by a daughter and 4 sons. There's Brett, who played nearly 2 decades on his own in the league, winner of 2 Stanley Cups and one of the greatest, 100 greatest to play the game. Maybe you heard of him. Then there's Bart, who played 3 years for the Broncos as a running back in the late 80s. An ACL injury in the CFL ended his professional career in football, but he would return to Boise to do radio for the hometown Idaho Steelheads. And in their second year of existence, in 1997, Bart left the announcer's booth to fill in for the team on the ice and then ended up playing 6 games over 3 seasons for the Steelies. As a nod to his father and his proficiency on the ice, Bart's Instagram handle, by the way, is the Tinfoil Jet. But back in 1999, the Hull boys, otherwise known as hockey's first family, that'd be Brett, Bobby Jr., Bobby Sr., his brother Dennis, who also played for the Blackhawks. Well, they all found themselves in Boise together for the first time for Bart's wedding. And we caught up with them that July for a pre-matrimony round of golf at Crane Creek Country Club. We also caught up with Bart today, who was kind enough to take some time to remember his dad with us. And while they didn't spend too much time together, hardly at all, when he was a kid, Bart and Bobby made up for it the following decades.
I remember the first thing I did when I got my own phone in Boise was call my brother for his phone number, and I called Dad, and he made it down. He made it down for a game there my junior year, and it was something I'll never forget, and something he talks about quite often.
On a day like today, it's a hard question, but what do you think about when you think about your dad and your relationship?
I think the most memorable things over the last few years is just sitting around his kitchen table in Chicago. You know, he loved the city of Chicago. The fans of the Blackhawks loved him. He was adored in that town, and it's what he thrived off of. But our best moments would be just sitting around his kitchen table and chatting all morning and all afternoon, and we talk about things that we hadn't talked about for 30, 40 years. We found out at one point we have the same favorite movie. We didn't know it until I was in my early 50s.
Gets it away, and Bart Hull down the sidelines.
Playing football, did you guys talk about you deciding to do that and that was going to be your sport?
They understood that I wanted to forge my own path. I don't think it was the right decision, but it was a decision I made. And I have so many friends in Boise still to this day that, today my phone was, it ran out of battery by 10 o'clock in the morning. And a great number of those people were people from Boise and the Treasure Valley. So it means a lot to me, my connections that I still have there.
Bart is a sales representative for a cookware company in Dallas these days, and he's still, as you see, rocking the old BSU gear, still had the old BSU label on it, or the logo, I should say. He made it to the Frisco Bowl last month to cheer on the Broncos, by the way. His dad, Bobby, remains the Blackhawks' career leader with 62 playoff goals, and his number 9 sweater was retired by Chicago in 1983. The same year he was inducted into the Hall of Fame of Hockey. That favorite movie, by the way, that he mentioned, The Quiet Man with John Wayne.